On November 5th, 1982, 25-year-old Paul Carlile and 21-year-old William Sakosky checked into a room at the Parliament House, a gay hotel and resort in Orlando, Florida. The two had been traveling together. The next morning, a housekeeper discovered the nude body of Mr. Carlile, deceased on the bed. Carlile had been beaten so badly that it would take several days to identify him. In addition to having been beaten, he had been stabbed, bound, and gagged. His arms and legs had been tied to the four corners of the bed. He was naked save for a leather mask. His wrists were slashed to the bone, but the actual cause of death would later be attributed to strangulation. Mr. Carlile was a freelance photographer for David magazine, a gay entertainment guide. Once Carlile was identified, the hotel's desk clerk confirmed that Carlile and Sakosky had checked into the room together. The chief detective on the case told the press the killing was a sadomasochistic homosexual murder. An autopsy showed Carlile had cuts on his neck and arms. He had been strangled with a cord and beaten with a lamp, police said. Police discovered that Sakosky had fled in Carlile's car back to his hometown in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Following a teletype, police spotted the victim's car with stolen plates in a parking lot at a Scranton bowling alley. Sakosky was detained for violating his parole, and after some extradition wrangling, he was taken back to Florida to face first-degree premeditated murder charges that could mean the death penalty. In custody, Sakosky told police he had spent much of his younger years in foster care and institutions. As an adult, he had held various low-paying jobs and had spent time in prison for receiving stolen property. On November 15, 1983, Sakosky accepted a plea deal. In a public statement, the DA said that he accepted the plea deal in part because he was afraid a jury might not convict Sakosky. In terms of sentencing, the DA said that while Florida's guidelines typically called for up to 20 years for second-degree murder, the brutal nature of the crime and Sakosky's parole status at the time warranted a life sentence. In February 1984, Sakosky was sentenced to 40 years behind bars, and accepting the plea, the judge said that Mr. Carlile's murder was one of the worst he'd seen in his time on the bench. Mr. Carlile came from a loving family in Indiana and had moved to Florida only 4 years before his murder. His family listed his occupation as a construction worker, with no mention of his burgeoning career as a photographer for a gay magazine. Please share and subscribe to the channel.